Ladies and gentlemen, you are watching Contra Junkies, Rob and John. Oh yeah.
What's going on, guys?
Hey, how's it going?
Hello.
We do it, you guys.
We don't let Bob out much.
We don't let Grandpa out the cage too much. What's up, guys? I'm Brian, lead singer.
Rob, guitars.
Tom, drums.
Bob, the bass.
And we're Unlikely Souls.
And this is Fran. And everybody should know who I am by now.
Thank you for joining us, guys, and making the time to be here tonight.
Yeah.
On Wednesday Hump Day.
Yeah, baby, talk to me.
Thought that was going to be me.
Was that towards me or Fran? Like,
I'm not picky.
Whatever.
okay.
Oh, this is going to be funny.
Okay, I'm out.
Rob, I will give you the honors of starting out with the first few questions. Put them on the spot.
Okay.
Mhm.
If you had to go to jail for 5 days for 5 years, or go to jail for five years every weekend, what would you choose?
Wait.
So go to jail for 5 years or 5 years every weekend?
Or 5 years.
Both, meaning you can do the full term for 5 years or do it every weekend
Or every weekend. Jail every weekend. 5 years.
for 5 years.
I'd go to 5 years.
Yeah, I'd get it over with.
I would just do it on a weekend. I'm at the prison visiting my boyfriend every weekend anyway, so.
Yeah, I think I'd do. I'd probably do every weekend.
I would
yeah.
do every weekend, bro. Have to be every weekend. Got family and shit.
Nah, I
Then
wouldn't.
when we gonna play our shows?
Yeah, don't like the idea of every weekend knowing that, like,
It's only 5 years.
So how long would that actually turn out to be? If you did it every five
That could be,
years on a
it's-
weekend, what does that actually turn out to be? Is it 10 years?
No, it's still 5 years.
Turns into a real sore ass either way you look at it.
Huh.
There's 7 days a week.
Right. But if they're only doing it on weekends, it's not going to be, you're
No,
still going to give them
it's still-
whole week credit?
No, it's still 5 years, but it's every weekend instead of.
Okay. I'm
One day.
trying to figure that one out.
So
Okay.
it'd be less. Technically, the 5 years would be less if you did it straight 7 days a week instead of doing it, every weekend.
Yeah, I'm just going to avoid jail altogether. How about that?
Okay.
he's the guy who cuts the wire.
Yeah.
His parole officer's watching. That's why he didn't say it.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm not doing anything.
All right.
Interesting question.
It
Yeah,
is.
wait to see the next one.
Oh, it gets better. Wait.
You wouldn't see it. You'd probably hear it.
Yeah. Maybe some-
Yeah. I know you probably get this asked all the time. How'd you get your name? Was it through a hat or?
Well, I guess I can answer that. So we were thinking about a band name before we even knew Bob. And I was just laying in bed one night trying to think of names for the band. Yep. And I'm like, we are an unlikely group of people. Brian had always used to say our backgrounds are different, very different.
Yeah, we're all 180 of each other.
Yeah. And so I thought of the word unlikely. And then we always had a spiritual side to our music and to our relationships and that kind of thing. So like unlikely spirits, unlikely whatever. And then all of a sudden the word souls came to me. I'm like, I like it. So I presented it to the guys and they were like, done. That's it. That's the name.
Yeah, there wasn't really any argument over it. It's just
Just because today's world, everybody's so offended by people's political beliefs and feelings and all this. So, I mean, you got like Bob, who's not liberal, he's old school Democrat. And you got our drummer, who's Trumper. He's a peaceful anarchist, and I'm just a combat veteran that's libertarian. I think they're all full of shit.
I guess.
But yeah, I'll come back. Get the peaceful anarchy. If you ask him, he gets in this argument all the time. People are like, I'll give you an anarchist and peaceful. It's like, look up the fucking definition. There's nothing about violence in it. It just says a group of people that govern themselves peacefully.
I would love to be in that room and hear a conversation about politics.
It's
Not-
mostly
it's not-
Bob just biting his teeth because he's old.
No,
and
not on
wise.
here. I'm
Like,
saying in
he's so
general.
wise.
I'm saying in general, not live on the interview. So, what makes you guys so different besides your religious beliefs?
Me.
Huh.
Kidding, I'm kidding.
Music taste, we do find common ground.
Very much so.
Obvious one would be age. I'm the youngest.
I'm the oldest.
A decent amount. That'd be in the band.
Yeah, we got about 35 years between youngest and oldest, I think.
Yeah, so to come together and take everybody's musical history and what they're currently listening to and blend that agreeably,
Yeah, into a style.
it came so easy. It's almost like, I guess that's the reason why we keep wanting to go strong and keep playing and keep writing new stuff, because it's unlikely. So and it's
Yeah.
happening. So
I mean, you
it's
think
cool.
about like this group of people in today's world would even hang out and have a dinner together without somebody being offended or pissed off.
Or not wanting to fucking be there.
Or not wanting to fucking be there. You know what I mean? So if you've ever been in a band or know how bands work, I always say it's easier to be banging your wife and your sister and they're both on the rag at the same time and they find out that you're fucking each other. It's easier to get out of that situation than it is to have 5 dudes show up to practice every week without
It
bitching.
just, yeah, downhill. That's what makes us different right there.
He's sick.
We don't have to answer any more questions.
Combat's known to change your man.
So how did you guys meet?
What's that?
Oh,
You
man.
say that
How
was
did you all
sweet?
meet?
A gay bar.
Say what?
That's awesome. I've known Rob. He just had pubes. And then I met Tom through a thing where I used to throw for my buddy every year called Bernie Bash, who was one of my best friends and guitarist and roommate for 15 years in our old band, New After Hat, before he passed. And his band played, and me and Rob were always wanting to jam and start a band. We just always bumped off and jammed with people that just were never serious. Tom, I asked if he wanted to jam, so we got together and started jamming. We tried out a girl with us to sing with us. It kind of just wasn't fitting.
How was she?
Huh?
I said, how was she?
Vocally, she's great. She actually has her own. She
No.
does rock. Oh. But
That's
we
not
didn't
what I
share.
said, but
Her husband was awesome, though.
Huh.
But then we had a bass player, and the guy would never look forward and only played the open A string, so it wasn't really much knowledgeable of music there. And then the thing I never do, I don't know about them, but the thing I never do, and I know the thing Bob said he never does, is we never go on Craigslist. Because, it's crackheads list, we call it, for a reason. So we just happened to put a thing out looking for a professional bass player, somebody wants to take it serious, write original music, and see where it goes. Just have fun, basically, just have fun as a band. And Bob happened to answer it, he showed up, and I don't know how he doesn't have
It's
it.
been loved
It's by
ever
choice
since.
why he doesn't have a
It's been
women, because
loved.
this guy can. Woo! Fingers, boy. Makes me question my sexuality when he plays that bass.
Yeah.
That is too funny.
In short, he's as crazy as the rest of us. So.
As fucked up as the rest of you.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you're the one who's driving the bus to hell, so.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, he's driving that crazy bus, huh?
That's right. Get on a crazy train.
Planets collide.
It's an EV vehicle, so we'll be safe for them.
Well, yeah, like getting back to the differences. I mean, as we were just saying, the music between us all, I don't think we've ever disagreed much, if anything at all, about how we're going to play, what we're going to play. I know it just fits so well from the very start. It was always that way.
It's very cut and dry, to be honest with you. I mean, there's our stuff obviously behind the scenes that go into it further. I'm sure there'll be questions. So, yeah, I would say it's pretty much yes or no. Introduce a song, an idea. We either like it right off the bat or we don't. There's never been really anything that we've stumbled upon.
I mean, also really big. I mean, Fran, you've been to the shows, and me running around being crazy wouldn't be there if we weren't really tight on our timing and stuff that we have to mix that. Me running around, make it more explosive, and like I think it's because we
Good point.
honestly, generally, we just have fun. Or like, who gives a fuck if you like my music or not? We're writing real music. I don't write songs about shit I don't know. It's all my experiences of, going through and seeing God, not seeing God, going through war, Afghanistan, coming home. It's all real stuff that people can relate to. And I think that's what we all agreed on. Was like, if we're going to write music, we're going to do the original. It has to be real shit. We're not going to come out there and talk about, like rappers nowadays. They got, how was it 24? Shut up. After the video, they take the gold off your neck. The bank takes all their cars. You know what I mean? Like, you don't live that life. I mean, we pretty much live the life. The music that we're playing and what comes out is the life that we've all lived or experiences we've all had. Except for Bob, and I don't know what it was like back in WW2.
I was waiting
He's
for
in a
it.
shell shock. He doesn't ever tell me much.
It ended
I just
too
want to get to
even.
the home at night and get the food before I go to bed. You know?
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to stir the pot here a little bit.
Please do.
Let's stir that bitch. Let's stir it.
Freaky Friday scenario, which band member you do not want to switch lives with for 24 hours?
Myself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Brian.
Yeah.
Definitely Brian.
Yeah.
But they don't want to switch with? Is that what you're asking?
They don't want to
Yeah,
switch
who
with.
would you want to switch with?
So nobody wants to switch with Brian.
I can't speak for those two, but for me, yeah, Brian's my man.
That's
Is it
agreed.
because of that thing at the bottom of the face of my shirt?
Who was that, Bob?
Yeah, it's that
Bob, why
Brian.
do you pick Brian? Why would you pick
I wanna
Brian?
pick Brian. Brian's got a harder road to hoe than the rest of us, I think. I don't want to get too personal into his, love life and, past relationships and stuff like that. And it's just a tough road to hoe.
I'm crazy because there's a lot of shit that's up in here.
That too.
No way to get it out.
That too.
All right. What about you, Brian?
I don't know if I'd want to be my drummer.
Yeah.
He's so anal. So fucking anal. He carries pizza in his pocket everywhere we go. We call him pocket pizza.
Yeah, we're marketed as pocket pizza.
I love him to death, but like
Yeah.
he just high stress all the time. Except for tonight, he's actually chilled out, which is really kind of cool.
Pocket pizza,
Like,
huh?
how much is this? Why is that? I'm like, dude, why do you think so? But that's what he does.
I could see that.
He's a financial guy, so like he's always got to have a steady plan. Like I learned one thing in the military, it doesn't matter. You can have that book of what your mission plan is. No, it goes to shit. That book don't help you. You just got to learn how to laugh things off or find it. People say silver lining. I would say find the humor.
All right. What about you? What about you, Tom?
Yeah, I would agree with Rob, actually, just
Yeah.
because, Bob,
I agree too.
only because he has had a rough life. And, since you proposed the question, out of the three other guys, Rob's pretty chill. Bob, he doesn't care about, what other people think or nothing. He just does his thing. So I could do that. I could switch to 24. But, so that's my answer.
What about you, Rob?
I agreed when Bob said it.
Man, nobody wants to be like you, Brian.
You guys, many wives and kids as I do. You understand?
This is our
I
way
don't want
of
to go there, Brian.
this is our way of making him feel better.
I got so many kids, Mexicans, are like, no mames, way.
Well, my man, way.
That is so funny.
I
Sorry to laugh at you. I don't mean to laugh at you. It's just funny. So,
He's what?
let's see. Brian, you recently just got married.
For the third time, yes.
Congratulations, 3 times the charm.
He's got a great wife.
But if this doesn't work, I'm gonna try sucking dick just to see what it's like. I'm just gonna say at this point.
Try. He says try.
We know.
Well, you know what? I'm gonna say props to you on 3 times the charm because I refuse to go 3 times. I'm done.
Brian.
I'm done with kids. for Sure.
Bob's single.
Yeah.
It's not the dating game. This has nothing to do with that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Listen, you haven't figured out for Ed yet. If she sees something that wants it, she'll let you know.
I'm sure she's not afraid to speak her mind.
I am not, but I'm on camera, so I have to bite it a little bit.
Don't do it on our account.
I mean,
What were you gonna say, Rob?
all right, since we're on the same, topic of, Freaky Friday and stuff like that, if you could be a cereal, what cereal would you be?
Oh, I'd be Special K all day.
Boy.
I'd be Raisin Bran. lots of raisins.
Scoop, boop, scoop.
That's right. My age, that's what you fucking need.
Did you heard it from the grapevine?
And you heard it through the grapevine. Nice.
I'm gonna be fine. Yes, sir.
Oh wow.
I'd probably be Count Chocula.
Ooh, that'd be a good one.
Yeah, just
But
because.
why? Why would you?
Why Count Chocula?
Because everybody likes chocolate, first of all. Secondly, it's got power to change the milk into a whole nother experience.
I said anything.
So you get 2 treats for the price of 1. That's why.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna go. Why Raisin Bran?
Fruity Pebbles.
Kellogg's Corn Flakes.
I'm torn between Cinnamon Toast Crunch and Captain Crunch.
Oh, Captain
Oh,
Crunch.
yeah.
And this
Yeah,
is
but you're not Rob's. Captain Crunch tears the shit out of your mouth.
let's sit in the milk a little bit longer. I don't know what to tell you that. Not a problem. But
I knew you.
But Pink Dancer doesn't have a specific reason other than I really like those 2 cereals.
So I love
Yeah, I like
this.
that.
Keep them coming.
Yeah, I haven't had
like
to think
these
about it,
questions.
but I
That
really
is
want those
funny.
2 cereals now.
Yeah, right?
And now we're freaking hungry.
Yeah, thanks.
All right. You know what? I like throwing it. I throw this out every now and then. I'll throw in a random question. But would you rather fight 100 duck-sized horses or 1 horse-sized duck, and why?
1 horse-sized duck for me.
I'd probably take the 100 ducks because I like beating off. So I can just beat those fuckers right off of me.
We're gonna have a better chance with 100.
Tom's not used to questions. We were hoping we saw a horse-sized duck for a minute.
I thought it was kind of.
Would you want 100? Would you rather beat off? Or, I mean,
Off.
fight. I'm sorry,
Wait,
fight.
what?
Fight off.
Would you rather
It'd
fight?
take a long time to beat each one of them off. Yeah.
Okay. Wow. All right. So let's talk about some nicknames. Bob,
Yeah.
they call you Mr. Viagra.
Yeah, Bob Viagra. Yeah,
That's
that's
what I
just my
wanted.
stage name.
Forget about it.
There's no validity.
So how did you come about having that for a stage name?
Brian?
No, I came up with it.
Brian came up with that.
And that was when we went on the first time. We had a little minivan we take on the store, and we called the mini store van. And I couldn't figure out why you had wipers on the inside of the windshield.
Okay, so when you're on stage, you know how there's band, there's the guitarists who throw picks out to the crowd. Do you throw Viagra out to the crowd?
I throw Viagra pills. Yeah, I throw Viagra pills. Yeah.
So we usually have popcorn, but I don't know if we can say it, but it's not legal in every state.
Legal schmeagle.
It looks like they need it.
Especially at the underage shows. No, I'm kidding.
They get us a
Oh my gosh. So anyway, moving on. So how has 2022 been treating you guys? What have you guys been up to?
2022.
for this
How's it
year.
been up
It's
to
been
her?
good.
I mean, it's been good. We had to take a hiatus to figure out kind of where we were, kind of like where we wanted to go and what we want to do. Like, I mean, we're not really, we had merch, kind of sold out of it when we were doing all the natural act things at Brower. And then, we started trying to record an album. I mean, we got a few songs left, but it's getting done by a buddy who does it professionally, but he also has a regular job and a family. So it's kind of when it gets done. But that was like we were trying to talk about. Like, what's the next step we want to do? Where we want to go? How we want to approach it? And we also want to kind of write newer stuff. You know, like start working on newer songs. When you play out all the time, and people keep constantly see you. You know, you play the same song over and over. They kind of get tired of it. And they're less like, you know, like, oh, we already know what the set's going to be. So we like to be able to do that. I think we're also talking about, as much as I hate it, we're going to start doing some covers, but they're going to be just
Sprinkle through the set list.
they'll be sprinkled through, but we're going to do them our way. Because to me, if you're going to cover something, you either got to sound like the band or you got to. So just discussing that, figuring out what we're going to do with merch. Because like we know we're doing all this ourselves. We don't have like band management, and everything kind of went quickly. Ironically, COVID, most bands thought they were going to get destroyed. We kind of, like we've opened for Buck Cherry, Puddle of Mud, Tantric, Saliva, March's Playground, Cracker, you know, and going through all that was like such a bum rush, and we didn't really make much money.
We're a lot of types of shows.
Yeah, getting any of it. But
A lot of
like,
different
again,
places.
about fun. I like playing in front of just a bunch of people out there. Like, you've been to shows where we've had 4 people there. You've been to shows where the venue was packed and it's the same show. You know, like pretty much we do it for ourselves, not for selfish way. So we're just trying to figure out where we want to go with the next step. Like, definitely want to get an album done. But you know, we're new to all this. Like the interview on this. I sound like Bob.
Yeah.
I'm only 46, and I'm the one who doesn't know shit about the technology.
New material is a big one. We're slowly kind of spitting them out, but I think with winter, a lot of things do slow down with winter, so it's an opportune moment for us to really kind of get
Is
down.
going to be a full length album coming up next, or what?
How many did we record?
Well, we got.
for
I
that
think
one?
it's like
We got 11.
we did 11. I just got to finish doing the vocals on the 3, but his thing broke or whatever. We have to get, and now we got to fix. But then, just you know, it's total different world. I've been in bands my whole life, and back in the early 2000s, you just got in a band and drove everywhere and played and kind of forced yourself on people. Where now it seems like it's not so much that bars wonder how much you're drawing people to their bars, so they're like their own thing. The only way kind of to make money or get noticed more is to do stuff on the internet. So we're all pretty much learning it. Rob's the one who, you know, like you said, do you have a mic? I was like, they put mics on computers. Don't computers have mics in them? And you were like, no, you can plug in a mic. I had no idea, but thank God for the young gamer. He does Twitch and all his own stuff for gaming. He has a mic, so it's work, you know. So we're going to help us learn that. We're going to try to take that next step totally and just try to hit it as hard as we can.
Yeah, 2022 is probably a little bit slower for us than 2021 was. You know,
I agree.
We're trying to recharge a bit and in our direction, and and get more of our songs and stuff like that. So we're not quite as busy as we were last year, but we're trying to concentrate a little bit better on what we're putting out there.
Yeah, I agree with that for sure. Tom?
I was just waiting for the Spanish album that we're going to put out next.
We're going to do a Spanish Christmas album.
Spanish Christmas, yeah.
We're going to call it Old Holy Pizza in my pocket.
I can't wait to hear it.
But I'm going to change the pizza to burritos in my pocket.
And she wants to come hang out and drink with us one night. That would be dangerous for her. Most people say it's dangerous for them.
Yeah.
Dangerous for who?
It'll be dangerous for you to come drink with us one night. For most people, it's dangerous for them to drink with you.
Right.
For me, it's not a challenge. I got this.
Yeah, baby.
Uh-huh.
You'll find out if the Viagra's needed or not.
He's not going to have enough. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yes, I can.
All right, let's digress here a little bit.
So, do you guys have an estimated time on when you think the album will be done?
Hopefully before. It'd be nice to have it done before Christmas would be is the plan, but like normally we would have been at the studio where I know his mother just passed away a couple weeks ago too, so like
Sorry to hear that.
Oh, sorry
yeah,
to
he
hear
turned his garage to a whole studio. We normally practice there, so where we're recording the album, we practice there. But you know, I normally would go there and I would ask him if we could go there. We got a whole huge setup. This would be like I think. So, but
Yeah, hopefully by the first of the year.
I would say by the first of the year, yeah, it'd be a good. I only got to do 3 songs. He's got some of them produced, like, or he's just got to master them and all that stuff. I just got to go finish 3 tracks with vocals, and then
Otherwise, they're pretty much done.
yeah, they're pretty much done. He just hasn't released. He's gonna release them all on because again, we don't know how to do much of that stuff, so he's gonna release them on all the Apple iTunes and all the social apps and stuff like that.
There's been speed bumps. So
There always is, and there always will be.
Yep.
Yeah, just jump over it, move on.
yep.
Go ahead, Rob.
All right, I ask this every episode, so I'm going to anyway. Last Supper scenario. Who's your 12? You have to have one female. People could be dead, alive, cartoon. I don't care. If you need a kiddie table, let me know.
Who's your 12 disciples you would have at Last Supper?
Yep.
Yeah, your 12 apostles and your Mary Magdalene.
You mean from our lives?
Probably Amelia Earhart for the family, for the female.
Why her?
Because she
Okay.
was near for a fucking woman. She's a badass. I mean, just I know I like weird history stuff, so
I don't
like
even
she
know
was
I think just any characters.
just badass. Probably the 6 brothers I lost overseas for sure. Would want them back. Be able to have Last Supper with them. These guys minus Bob because he won't be here. No, I think that's like the 6. The other 6, I
I
don't
take
know.
forever to eat. That's why he's saying that. I take forever to fucking eat. That's what.
Yeah.
The Last Supper will take a long time.
Yeah,
Like
you
I-
got to chop it up pretty good for me. So
Who eats hard-boiled eggs through a blender and a straw? I don't know.
That's right. That's right.
I don't know. Like that's a good question. Probably my great-grandfather, my uncle Jimmy, and
David Bowie. David Bowie's got to be in the Last Supper.
Wait,
Jim Morrison,
getting good?
Jim Morrison.
and Richard Pryor.
Okay.
Richard Pryor for sure, because that's where I kind of grew up with, and that sick twisted comedy thing, I guess. So yeah.
Yeah, I love Richard Pryor. Good stuff.
What about
Who's
you?
next?
First, these 3 fools.
Ah. Okay, sorry.
If my
He's
girls
thinking-
don't like it, you
he's-
always want to go last.
He's thinking. He's going last. He's thinking. He's thinking too much about it.
I am.
I would have these guys. And this could be anybody. Anybody.
It could be a cartoon. It doesn't matter.
Cartoon,
It
fictional.
could be Jessica Rabbit, or it could be her dead sister.
Well, I was gonna
Whatever you
say
want.
Bugs Bunny because Bugs Bunny was dope. I like Bugs Bunny.
I'm gonna get up and go make a drink real quick while they explain.
You do,
I'd have
man.
Thor, Jesus. Because if you don't invite Jesus, I mean that. Come on.
So you would have Jesus as your apostle.
He would. Well, do they have to be apostles, or are you just saying in that scenario? who
Well,
you-
I mean, generally speaking, I mean that's what they were. But I mean, that's different. I've never heard anyone say that. That's kind of cool. All right.
Well, I figured you invite him to the dinner. You know, you get the
Might as well
talk.
kiss his ass while you still have a chance. I get it.
That's the one. It's good.
Does he have to RSVP? That's the next question.
No, I think he's VIP.
Okay.
I put that
Aw.
in VIP list. I would
You can tell
have.
who the good boy is of this group. You can tell.
I'd have my dead uncle. I lost track of the count because of the Jesus explanation. I just thought it was a good idea.
You're about 5 or 6 right now.
Okay.
Praying for salvation.
Salvation, praise Jesus.
Hey man, it's an important dinner. Let's see. Jimi Hendrix, Lane Staley.
Okay.
Where am I at now? 9.
Okay.
9. And then last 2, I'd have Jerry Cantrell. So I had some questions. I feel like I should end on a good one, but I already said Jesus.
Well, there's 2 more actually. You're at 10.
I don't know. I can't come up with a good last one. Let's say Robin Williams. Just
There
off
you
the top
go.
of my head.
Okay.
That'd be
Okay.
that'd be an interesting night out.
Well, yeah, because you're very
Yeah.
I see that. I see that.
So I know I would have Frank Sinatra for sure.
You're
And,
Italian. Why
I would
wouldn't you?
I would definitely have the majority of the cast from
If you say friends, I'm out of the band.
from The Godfather. Al Pacino would be there.
They just wiped out the whole 12.
Brando. Yeah. Actually, I can't think of her name now, but it'd be cool to have is from My Cousin Vinny, the girl that played what's his name?
Rosie.
That's not her.
Well, Rosie O'Donnell was the other one. The other, she
Rosie
was,
O'Donnell, the Spanish chick.
what was her name?
My cousin Vinny, right?
Yeah, played My Cousin Vinny. She played
My
the-
biological clock is ticking like this. I know you're talking about.
Yeah.
I know what
She'd be the female.
Damn, you do that well.
I like
You know
her.
what? I do it well because I've been saying it more and more often.
Yeah. And I have an uncle of mine who has passed away, Uncle John, cool dude. Let's see. First thought I had was I'd want my son, Tommy. He's a cool kid. I'd want him. Let's see. Male standpoint. There's a teacher that I had in high school. His name was Mark. He was a good guy. He talked me through a couple of things. And he was my baseball coach. Good guy.
What about female?
The female was that gal.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, I don't know what count I'm on, but those represent the people I'd have for sure.
What about you, Bob? Moses.
Yeah, people of my
King
Not
Tut.
people that you grew up with.
King Tut.
Marissa Tomei. Thank you,
Rupert
Caroline.
Brackley.
Yes, thank you.
Rupert Brackley.
I have Lady Gaga.
Family members, mother and father.
Good top, but I mean, Billy Corgan, David Bowie, John F. Kennedy. I mean, I always admired him. As far as that goes, Jimi Hendrix definitely would have to. There was an interesting thing on whether Jimi Hendrix would be famous these days. That's another subject, but compared to all the guitar players and stuff like that. My brother, certainly, he was strong influence in my life. These three guys here, certainly would watch them at the Last Supper.
Good guy.
But, yeah, that's throw you in there.
None of them will switch their lives with me, but I'll be there when we finish our last meal, damn it. We all want to die of laughter.
You say it? I didn't say it.
Yeah, I said this at the beginning.
Who else is going to make the
People like.
Probably have my father there. And Barack Obama. That's who we
Barack.
I see you looking at all of us to see what our reactions were when he said that.
That would be my last
Yeah.
supper.
What about the female?
I'd say Lady Gaga.
Lady Gaga.
Oh, that's right. I thought you said Barack
Gaga.
Obama. That's right. He did say, I'm sorry.
All right. Oh, they just moved my head up. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
he's
throw John
Bob's a
Bonham
freak.
in
You don't think they had freaks in the 20s?
1920s.
They were called roaring for a reason.
That's right.
Yeah, it was a lot more underground back then. A lot more taboo lifestyles. Whereas now it's considered every day. Oh, that is so funny. So I want to talk about a couple of the songs on your album. Going back to that.
Tell us about it, you said?
Talk about a couple of
She
songs
said she
from
wants
the
to talk about it.
Oh, okay.
So which ones do
Talk
you
about
want?
some of the songs on your album. Because I was checking them out and I want to talk about Fallen. That seems like a very deep song. What was the inspiration for that one?
Everybody says stop saying what the song's about because it's little shows. It's about my cheating whore ex-wife.
Wow. Doesn't hold back.
Okay.
So my
Bat
ex-wife,
out of
my
hell.
second wife, we're married 5 years. I was like, I wasn't in love with my first marriage, but I was out of service. And that's a whole other thing. That's what forgiveness is about. Yeah. But, the second marriage, and she wound up like sleeping with a friend of mine that I've known since high school. And pretty much at that time, I was going to church regularly. I found place, dealing with PTSD and stuff. And I was like kind of really lost still. I was happy because I was in love. She was beautiful. She had a kid. My oldest daughter stayed with us. We went through a lot of stuff together, going to church and things like that. Wound up cheating on me, and just that she was telling me, didn't give me a clue that she was unhappy. Didn't say nothing. Never gave me, to me, I'm like, cool. If you don't want to go fuck somebody else or you're done with the marriage, just say I'm done. And then don't just all of a sudden do it. And then you're like, well, I've been unhappy for years. Well, how the hell am I supposed to know you don't communicate? You know what I mean? So basically, it was in the bar, and being that I was really into going to church and being a follower, like dedicated and stuff, I found myself in the bar getting shit canned, doing cocaine, trying to fuck whatever I could, and realized that I was falling, so technically, according to God's grace and everything, we all slip and we all fall. So that's what the song's about. It's like slipping and falling and not losing my faith kind of in God that, you don't exist. I've been doing everything that's for you and, for myself and for you and in your name. And then you still let this happen. So it's, and it's even Paul questioned God in the Bible. It's just that questioning phase of where I was at because I was so hurt and so distraught. So I just wrote about it. And it's the whole story is really true, and I don't care. I call that dude Funky J out all the damn time. So it's like, whatever. That's his
Were you
DJ.
raised a choir boy? Were you raised a choir boy?
No, but my hair used to be parted because my priest was like, "You're not going to tell nobody about this."
Oh my god!
The riffs on that song, all that is Robbie.
Rob.
Ideas and stuff like that, where the chords come from and the structure is right musically behind that. It's all from Rob. I bring the words and the emotion to it, when he's singing and he's putting his heart into it, it's heartfelt for him. And Rob's really the music behind it. Tom and I are just the rhythm set going in behind it.
When you listen to the songs, you'll explain why they would never want to be music.
Fantastic backup vocals that you do on.
The backup vocals are really cool.
We didn't have backup vocals for a long time, and I'm like, I'm just gonna grab the mic and do whatever sounds right.
If you've seen the song live, his backup vocals for the chorus are just perfect. We've taken.
So, are you the Brian? Are you the only one that writes the music, or do you all chip in on that?
Well, so me and Rob have always wrote music, just sat around and he's riffed. And, I can play it like I wrote basically the structure of the rock and roll band. They gave it to Rob and told him what I was thinking. Like me and Rob pretty much write most of the music. We want like dynamics, we want it to be stories. So there'll be something where he's like, we have a newer one which we've only played once. It'll be out, we'll be playing it again soon. But it's more melodic and it's called Save Me, and it's kind of about it was like we just been in these shitty relationships with these women that kind of brought us down. Now we met these other women that kind of brought us up, like they saved us from us falling into our own insecurities and depression and not feeling adequate enough. So he gives me a subject to say, I want to write about this. I'll come up with like a name for it, or I think this is what the name should be. And he'll say, yeah, I like it or don't like it, or we change it. And then we write off of that. It's like writing a story. Your chorus is basically the story, like it's the main concept of the story, but the verse tells you how you got to the, how we got to there.
Of course, there's always emotion behind the music. The music, it speaks its own language. When I write the songs and the guitar parts and stuff like that, it's usually from a state of emotion or a memory or something like that, or just a feeling of the day. But yeah, I'll usually develop them over quite a bit of time. I'm not a quick writer when it comes to songs, but I do typically leave them with kind of an idea, a name, possible name, and I hand it to him to put his words and story behind it. But yeah, there's always anybody who participates in the band.
And pretty much, really, that's how we write.
There's some kind of emotion you're putting into that, I imagine, because that's the best part. Is that each one of us, when we play, I think we all feel.
Mine's Bob. You can just play whatever the fuck you want. Bob's like, yeah, I got it. I got an extra string. Boom, boom, boom. And just go. It doesn't matter what we try to throw at him. Bob. Yeah. Bob is like, okay, what's the main note? Root notes, got it, and goes with it. And then Tom like throws in like his side of it, you know. And then it's been more active with him since he's been doing backup vocals. And now he's like, well, I think if we do this will have that emotion that we're trying to reach. So maybe if I do this, because I'm like more of a low register of like a Scully. I don't really do a lot of the high, where he has more of a higher range. So when you match the two together, we go, I think it brings out the emotion of that song.
We'd like to pride ourselves on dynamic. I think we got good dynamic.
I don't care about making $1 million. I don't care about going on national tours and selling out sold-out stadiums. We played shows where we have songs about suicide. Where a girl wanted to kill herself and called me and like ironically playing the bar one night. This lady happened to walk in, didn't know us, didn't know who we are, heard that song and said she was there to go kill herself that night after she got shit canned because of that song. She didn't kill herself. And I shared that on Facebook, her post that she put up to me. That's at least I know. I don't want to speak for them too. They should talk too because I'm just a blabbermouth. But I think for me and Rob, I know that's why we do music. That's the point of music. If you do music for money, for fame, and all that, then you're in it for the wrong thing. You should do music so you can reach somebody with your stories. If you have a gift to tell all the pain, all the shit I've been through in life, I should be at the top of a roof pegging off people from higher learning. But instead of going that route, I put it into music and hope that there's somebody out there that would understand it. And if it changes their lives or saves their lives, that's worth more than $1 million any day of the week. To me, anyways. I'm pretty sure you're kind of on the same page with that, you know.
I mean, anybody who listens to music, they get something from it, whether it's just the rhythm, the beat, the lyrics, the music, or the encompassment of all of it. I know personally, and as a band, that we try to do what we feel and put that same kind of energy out there. So.
Tom's just there for the food.
You said what were the other songs that you were interested in?
We Will Rise. I was going to ask about that one too.
We Will Rise.
That's a newer one.
That's a newer one. So
I actually
how do we even? I don't even know how to play this. This is how much fun we have when we jam. Like, we don't even. I think that was the warm up song.
It was.
You would just start off.
Yeah,
It's a warm-up
It was like a warm up,
that I
like
used
little
to
riff
use.
thing.
It reminded me a lot of Metallica. You had mentioned Slayer. Just kind of, it had that older, late '80s and 90s kind of just heaviness to it. A lot of speed, a lot of alternate picking, and it was just something I used to warm my fingers up at the beginning of practice. And through 2021 and 2022, as we've been moving across everything that's been going on, there's definitely been dry periods. There's been bumps. And as far as the writing, it got real slow for me. And I eventually played that at a practice, as I always do. And I thought maybe one day, you know, when I get home, I can maybe try to revisit it. It's a song.
Yeah, me and Robert just messed around with it one day. I'm like, man, this is cool. Don't forget this riff, you know. And then we came back the next week and like, do you remember that riff? Let's try it again, you know.
And we just kept picking
Yeah,
at it.
Bob just was like,
Right, he
this
just put
guy's
right
like a masterpiece, like a Monet fucking out of bass over here.
in. Name.
We rip on him for being old and shit, but I don't think he'd be as good if he was like 20 years younger. He's got so much experience in music, like we learned from him. You know what I mean? He's the quiet one, and we kind of learned a lot from him. Like Bob never yelled at us, maybe once when we had tried to
Here and there.
But other than that, like, you know, and we were like, I wanted to get the view of the pandemic. You got to remember, we just told you why we're unlikely sold. So everybody's writing pandemic songs, and I was just like, well, we need to write something. The one thing we all agreed on is that we need to shit. It's like everything's so driven on media now, and everybody's got agendas, whether it's the left, if it's the right, if it's whatever. Everybody's got their own agenda they push on it, and it's done through media, whether it's through spamming memes against Obama or against Trump. You know, what I mean,
We were looking to make it our anthem.
right. You know, so like we were like, you know what? To me, I got the tattoo. It says "We the People." You know, it's what I went overseas for. It's like
It's a
we the
song
people. It doesn't
that's
matter color,
meant to be
race.
reflective.
Listen, I don't care if you love to shove toasters up your ass or run around your house saying electric, boogie, boogie, boogie. I don't give a shit. It's America. That's the point. But you shouldn't come over to me and try to sell me products. You know, I mean, it's just like we the people need to come together with the same everything that we're a human being. We're one race. You know, I mean, the music's the one thing that transcends everything. So we were trying to write about it. So I said, you know, like they try to break us apart and tear us down with their media lies, because they're trying to get, you know, there's such a great division amongst this country right now. Well, this is not even a political thing. This is just the real thing. there's so much hate in the world with less love. Whatever happened to like the 60s and the 70s, and where everybody was like love each other, and that's, you know what I mean? And I know it sounds kind of hippie-ish, but more modern day-ish. We need to come together as a people. We need to rise, you know?
You look to ever since the beginning of music, I try to extend my taste as far back as I can. It's all learning, find interest about every type of music. You'll always find some sort of anthem. There's always that anthem that stands out, or a ballad if you were to go into the other aspect of genres. You have these lengthy songs that don't necessarily in your face preach something, but act as more of like a call to be collective, like to work together and try to find each other on common
with the
ground.
grunge.
Oh yeah, I mean grunge definitely had its
Nirvana
anthems.
kind of like that was.
My time, early '90s, they had
What's the
they
band?
had-
This is the anthem. Throw your
Yeah,
damn
yeah.
hands up. Like I mean, they blatantly just say it in their song. You know what
It's
I
a
mean? Like,
collective. It draws everyone
Yeah.
to focus and invites the crowd or the fans and the people to feel like that's their song as well. And that's kind of our, I think, direction with "We Will Rise." You know, it even
and we want to
starts
write a
with
little bit
we.
more. That's why we're kind of on a little hiatus because we kind of want to write a little bit more heavier that way.
Definitely. Yeah.
You know, what I mean, maybe a little like just stops and breaks, kind of like a kind of Chevelle-ish, Chevelle kind of style stuff. I mean, and what's funny is some of these bands would bring up to Bob. He's like, "Who the fuck is that?" But then he'll go and listen to it, and he'll get the idea of it, and then he shows up the next week of practice, and he's like, "Okay, I got the idea what you want to do. This is what we're doing according to what we're playing," and it works out. So like we're kind of wanting to write more like that, more a little bit more heavier, kind of get people. Yeah, that's religious. The first few songs was, started when I was actually married to my second wife. So a lot of that was, if you listen to a lot of songs, names of them like Faith, Forgiveness, Got My Spirit Back. A lot of the songs were about that, but I tried not to make it like K-Love where we just shove Christ down your throat. You know what I mean? Like,
There's a lot of good heavy
just
bands.
basically, like August Burns Red. They're
Based
Christian.
in. There's a lot of.
There's a lot of bands where like, unless you actually open up I almost said tape cassette. Wow. I don't know. Do they have CDs anymore? Unless you got Google the lyrics, you're not going to know technically what it's about unless you're a diehard fan and you know the words. But, so we're trying to get away from less of. I feel like we're getting put in a box a little bit. I mean, specifically saying we're a Christian band and stuff. I think you can still be a Christian band, ideology-wise, of where it's spiritual, but you don't have to constantly do it. We're constantly, every song's got to be about that. We can write stuff about other things and experiences we had, and the time your friend got you through something, and when you didn't believe in Jesus and that wasn't working for you, and your soul and spirit, your friend got you through, things like that.
Okay. Well, that's deep. That's deep. So, do you think your goals have changed from when the band first started to what they are today?
I'd say just maybe trying to be a little more driven, less complacent, less stagnant. Try to keep the energy going. It does drain, especially after the past few years. It's hard to keep momentum going, especially after so many years.
It's been almost 8 years.
Almost 8 years.
Almost 8 years.
That's where the fresh material really comes into play, and I think it's a necessity. But also just camaraderie, hanging out together, doing more than just getting together for the same practice over and over and over again. I mean, I feel like that can kill a band real quick.
Yeah, I think we kind of went to that jobber, as they call him, status where, because Tom lives all the way out in Belvedere. He used to live in Bensonville, but
Oh, wow. Okay.
moved all the way out to Belvedere. Bob lives in Schaumburg. Now Rob lives up here. We're at his house. He lives in the Plains, and I live in Villa Park. When we first started, everybody was Bob was the furthest one. So everybody was all the time. We kind of hung out. And I think that's why it was so much fun. And
Yeah.
everything was great. But then, it's at the same time, we're not making a living off of doing this. Again, we do it for fun. We're not making a living off of it. It's not supplementing any of our incomes. It doesn't even supplement us getting merch right now at the moment. Yeah, we've worked for bigger acts, which is cool to say that you have that on your, what do they call that?
Resume.
Portfolio.
Yeah.
But at the same time, and it was cool to play in front of all those people, the couple thousand people played. It definitely was great. But I think that because if you do that, you only get a half hour. You got to be at the bar or the venue at 3:00, at noon, the one time to play a half hour. You know what I mean? So
It's definitely like over
we
like
kind
that.
of didn't have time to write new stuff because it was like every other weekend we were playing with these bigger bands, which was cool. But like we kind of got to that jobber status. So then when we'd actually go to practice, and which is their camera show up, let's play, we did our set, and we're out. Like I used to go live every single practice, and a lot of our fans said like, Facebook Live, and they would say, "Oh, we love when you guys go live because you guys are assholes and idiots and just make fun of each other." It's not like a lot of the bands that are out there. They'll edit their video. I don't edit shit, you know, and I just put it on live, and I hope the camera picks up my shitty ass phone, picks
Yeah, you
everybody
gotta
up
find
in the
something to
room,
set it on.
and it sounds good. I'm finding something to set it on, and we just rock out. How you see us on stage is how we practice, more like a confined space. You know, I mean, we practice the same way, but we kind of went away from that because it became more of a jobber thing. So that's part of the reason why we're taking hiatus. Like we gotta get back to us being friends and family again. Not that we weren't, but you know, just like any other family, you go through ups and downs. You know what I mean?
It just got very repetitive. Like
Yeah. And
down
like, you
to
know,
the
when you
very
have other life
detail.
stresses, when you have other life stresses, you're kind of like, this was my breakaway from my stress, but now this is becoming a stress, you know, so it's kind of,
Yeah.
but I think that we were all mature enough in the aspect of music that we were like, okay, there's something here. We got to take a break. We need to get back to, which is kind of ironic because then you want us to do this video, which kind of is like, I think this is a realization for a lot of us too. We've said it, but I think,
yeah, the questions have been.
yeah. I mean, he's asking all these
Very
cool
good.
ass, crazy questions. I love it.
And it kind of worked out.
I wish you lived next door. I'd go
go
smoke a blunt with him right fuck now. Like, ask me some more questions.
All right. So you want more questions? All right.
Yeah, dude, hey, listen, there's not obviously
You
a
opened
question
your
you can't
mouth,
really answer.
Brian. You opened your mouth. Go ahead.
If you could send somebody a song to describe you as a person without saying anything to them, what would that song be?
Footloose. Why do you guys laugh at me? I've actually been asked that question before.
Really?
Everybody cut. Everybody, come on, dude. Like I'm just saying, like it would be Footloose. That just describes my ass.
I just think it was just so quick. It shocked everybody.
I've actually been asked that question.
So we would say something that describes us.
Describes you as us as a band or us as a person? I'm sorry.
Individual.
Individually, that's what I say. Not
You
as
as
a
a
band.
person.
Say it was as a band. We will rise.
Mine would be Never Let Me Down by David Bowie.
They share a bunk at the home. That's why he keeps dropping David Bowie. I'm intrigued by your answer on this one more than I am Tom's answer.
Mine? Oh yeah, so am I. I'm like digging.
But I've also known you the longest out of everybody. So
I'd probably say My Way.
Oh, jeez.
My Way? Usher?
Probably.
Is that Usher?
do it my way.
Yeah.
Is
The lyrics, you know.
That's what I'm trying to do.
that what you play when you know a lady in bed? You're like, you're gonna do it my way.
It's not even so much the My Way part. I don't even agree with that. It's just the lyrics in the middle of the whole thing. You know, regrets.
I was
I've had a
disagreeing, I
few.
think.
You know, I thought
There
of
you
a
go.
good
Then
song.
again-
I'll match yours. What's that one by Frank Sinatra? It is a good song. Now I lose my guitar and everything that I love in that, but I think it was a good life lesson that's pretty down to the T, and it's also
That's
motivational.
life.
That's
Yeah,
life.
Whitney said Sinatra. I see it in the
That's
comments.
That's life. That's life was not a bad song. That's good. I heard it the other day. I'll match you on Frank Sinatra.
All right, I'll see your match.
And I'll raise you. That's life. It's called That's Life. We
Yeah.
win a prize, right, for best answer.
No.
Oh,
An unedited live interview. There you go.
There you go.
Which is not safe when I'm around usually.
Yeah.
Most of the time. You couldn't have me on the news describing a tornado. I'm like, that son of a fucking bitch came through this motherfucker like a hot damn fucking train, man.
all right, we might have to cut this off here.
Okay. Well, spinning off that, if you had an entrance song every time you walked in the door, what would it be?
Oh my God, this is what we're talking about. Did we say that? Did we say we're thinking about doing that?
No, it's not each person.
Yeah, I know, but for me, that's why I want to have it. 'cause
Oh, go ahead. Okay, good.
So it's the same song that I would want to have which we're talking about doing. Again, we're not smart with that. I'm not smart with technology. Just to figure out how to do it.
No.
But it'd be Eminem, and it'd be Lose Yourself.
Okay.
Just walk in a room, bam, 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 bam.
It does catch your attention.
Like we want to do that for an intro, and at the end of the chorus, of the first person chorus, is like let it come out, and then we just come out rocking. But I'd say that's how I always, I don't know, just I see music in everything I do, no matter if it's shitty or good. So it's like in comedy. So I'm always like, if I was a comedian, my wife asked me one time, "You were a comedian, what would be your intro song?" It'd still be the same song.
I'll go "We Die Young" by Alice in Chains.
Okay.
That's a good one. Good one, my friend.
Big fan of it.
I go
That-
Zero
that-
by the Smashing Pumpkins.
Oh, okay. Wow.
I did not know you were such a Smashing Pumpkins.
Oh, yeah.
We were learning so much about each other. You're the crazy Italian broad and the guy from Jersey. We just open up our hearts.
I'd probably actually do Celebration Day by Led Zeppelin.
Nice.
Okay.
That's a good song. Man.
All right.
Thanks for that song. I like that. I can see walking out with that song.
What would your song be?
Mine? I am
Yeah.
Tiger.
I Am the Tiger.
Yeah, I would so go there. I go there. I am Tiger.
Smash Jane or fucking
Yeah. Yeah. It's an Italian thing, you know. You just feel that. You know, I won't be able to run up. I won't be able to run up the stairs, but I'll be able to hop my way up there.
There you go.
I've seen you roll down them pretty good.
yeah, I don't have any problem with that.
All right, so exit song.
So what would your exit song be? Yeah.
There she goes.
I'm not gonna have a song at my funeral. It's just gonna be a crank on the side of the casket.
Oh, I
And
heard your
hope
theory.
somebody cranks it and got the guts to crank it like the Jack in the Box.
Don't keep
It'd be a
hurting.
Brian in the box instead of a Jack in the box, right?
Yeah.
All of a sudden your body
Go for
pops
the
up. That'd be some sick
Just
shit.
by Niagara.
I mean,
God.
Good.
Uh-oh, we lost our light.
Man.
Jesus doesn't approve of this conversation.
Yeah, I think we're-
that's
Yeah.
Can you fix it? You know what,
Yeah,
It's a wrap.
Power
all
source.
right.
we lost our spotlight here. Hold on a minute. You can still see us,
You
though,
can still
right?
ask a question. You can still see us. It's just-
Yeah.
Hold on.
There's nothing to do with the other thing.
No, I know that. I'm saying it was too dark. That's all. That's right. We just keep going as long as you can see us.
He can still
Yeah,
ask
we can
questions.
hear you too. We can hear you, so we're all
Yeah, I
good.
can hear you.
If you guys could change one thing about the music industry, what would it be?
If what? I'm sorry?
If you could change one thing about the music industry, what would it be?
Fucking auto-tune.
Ticket prices.
That's not a.
No?
I mean,
I'm just saying. What would you change about it? I used to have a MAGA hat. It said "Make auto-tune go away." I cannot like. I'm not saying I'm the greatest singer by any means.
Nor are we.
Touché. But when you got a granddad back.
I figured you said that.
But like auto-tune, I just don't like. I guess like even though I'm like in that weird, we grew up in that, we're the same age. We grew up in that weird era. Like I like the sound of the fuzzy record playing instead of a clean digital copy. You know what I mean? I like it when it's raw and natural. Nobody put a voice box on Janis Joplin and she had adjusted the sound like something. You know what I mean? Like I don't like a lot of the auto-tune or the fake processing of music nowadays. It just seems like everything is how many hits you can get or how much money can people make. You know what I mean? Where I don't think
okay.
so much about music anymore.
Okay. With that said, how do you feel about backing tracks then?
Nah, we just had
Oh,
that
what?
backing tracks.
Yeah, how do you feel
Okay,
about
so
that?
like, are you talking like where he's looping, like because we don't have a rhythm guitars, we have one guitar, so if he loops a rhythm, and technically it's a backing track. Are you talking about a backing track where, like Ignis and we played with, they were great, but they had a lot of backing tracks behind them. You know, like so when we play, kind of like I watched this old CCR documentary the other day. They played Fortunate Son so fast I thought it was a metal song back in like '69 in England, right when Paul quit the Beatles. And like they see all their concerts, they don't play. I mean, it's the same words, everything, but the song is either changed up a little bit. It's kind of Deadhead-ish, you know what I mean, where it's changed, which I like. I like when it's not the same thing every show. It's like what your energy and what the emotions are around it. With a backing track, you can't really do that. You got to be like right on point with it. If you have to be on a beat or something, and the back behind
a beat
you.
a beat or a scream or something.
Right.
You know,
I think like you
when
could
you
explain
first come-
because we actually had this conversation when we were hanging with Fran when we played Moose Fest, and we were talking about it. And I said like I love it and I love what they're doing, but as us, I said I kind of dig it. And then Rob was the one who has more of an opinion on the backing tracks than any of us, which I kind of agree with.
I like its effect. I like how it makes it smooth. It's just not really a route I particularly would go down. But as far as the question on my end, if I were to put my opinion forward on that specifically, it would be I feel like there's, and it would be hard to do. You're talking about like gauging, how genuine something is,
Right.
the exploration of different artists, but I also understand that goes on behalf of artists themselves. So I'll narrow it down, I think, to mainstream stuff, what we'd still call just, I would imagine, radio stuff you flip on in your car. You get the same song over and over and over again. And like, I hear new stuff on occasion that I really like, but it's definitely like, I think it would be for the mainstream to expand and be less narrow. I think the mainstream and however they focus their attention on who they pick and who gets to that kind of level and how it operates and how it works, I think that's what I would change.
Music industry, I would like to get rid of like Spotify and Apple Music and stuff like that. I mean, it's so hard for bands. The only way you're going to make money these days is to tour, and touring's great. You love to see live bands and stuff like that, but but as
But
far
you
as,
ain't doing a 150 show tour.
I'm not saying that. But, just to
But
make
we're
money
not-
off their music because it's so cheap to put out there and stuff like that. It's, to me, maybe just because I'm old school, the old days of releasing an album, people making money,
It has
a
changed.
gold record or something like that, and making their money that way and stuff. Where now it's just so cheap, everything is so free and so accessible. which
Everything's
is great.
merchandise. Everything's
great.
accessible as merchandise at the same time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where
It's great that the accessibility to everything, but as far as what the artists are getting for their work, they're getting screwed all the time. That would be what I would want to change as far as that goes. It's not going to happen. I mean, we're not going to backtrack to that, but that's just my opinion.
That's a good one.
five, motherfucker. Grandpa busted out the fucking wisdom. Love it.
How about you?
Yeah, I would like to make it more accessible to be able to, for people to see bands that they just don't have access to, and to be able to, I guess, have a bigger platform for people that aren't ever going to get that opportunity because of politics, that kind of thing.
Well, like
Because
this,
there's
we have the
Yeah.
concert junkies thing. This is totally really cool. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
I believe you're in New Jersey. And
Yeah.
you're show with our friend who's from here.
More
Like,
options for exposure.
yeah, and I
Right.
think it's cool because, like, even though we're not playing nothing, no one's gonna hear our music or whatever. But you kind of get to know the band of it. It's like,
Right.
I think there should be more of this because this is more. You guys are. I commend what you're doing, Rob, because this is like
Thank you.
you're about the band and like what's in their mind, especially with the questions you're asking. You're not asking the typical media question, the typical commercial shit. Like, so
Because how I feel is your music speaks for yourself. I would like people to know you as a person. If you're, I'm gonna say it. If you're a douche, you're a douche. But I'm saying in general,
yeah.
your music speaks for itself. I mean, I would love to play your stuff, but copyright's a thing, and
We used to. We actually both used to do that on both of our own channels. We would play the band's music in the beginning of our show. We
or
both
have
did
them
that.
play,
And
or
we-
have them
and-
play live.
yeah, everybody's
play-
asking. I know 3 actual other interviewers, podcasters who lost their podcast because they got hit with copyright too many times through YouTube. And then me and him we started getting threatened too. So
Well,
we
that's like
stopped playing
Facebook
music.
where they cut your video out if you take a recording of a cover band doing a
Yeah.
kick-ass cover of somebody else's song.
Even if it's not a cover,
That stuff on
even if it's
social-
your own music, they will cut us off.
Yeah,
Really?
I've had
Even if
that
it's our own
happen.
music and it's not copywritten.
It's still considered copyright because
Yeah.
you have to go through YouTube, give them permission. It's like a whole chain of events. in
Not
order
just,
to-
yeah,
just to get the damn song.
that was
It's-
if we did an acoustic jam. So, like, if we did an acoustic jam, they would cut.
Yeah, still get hit. I
Yeah.
still get hit.
Wow.
Even if it's your own music.
Is crazy.
Yeah.
I can literally take my acoustic out of my closet right now, play you 3 chords, and still get whomped.
Mhm.
So
Wow.
I'm not playing that game with anybody.
Oh yeah, no.
I
I
mean, I will gladly put you on my Spotify list of bands that I've interviewed
Right.
and post that on there and say, what do you call it? This is everybody I've interviewed so far, and take a look. And yeah, you might get a penny off of it because it's off my stream or whatever. But that's the farthest I will do. I mean,
well, yeah, because you
I-
don't want to risk. You don't want to risk what you got going on. Totally makes sense.
Mhm.
to grow this and to grow other bands and other people as I'm growing myself. This is the reason why I do it. I'm not, what do you call it? And Fran could be attest to this. We're not really making money off of this now.
But I'm assuming you're doing it because you love music and you love
Passion first.
you just-
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. I
This
can
is
run
why
This
we
is
write
not,
music
this is
and
not a
stuff.
hobby. This is a passion.
No.
This is
And
a
I'm
life.
assuming, Rob, that you are somewhat of a musician. I'm assuming, you know what I mean?
I try, not that great, but I mean, I go to about 36 concerts a year, maybe more, and I literally go to have a good time and take photos as well while I'm there.
Right.
And that helps the little guy, that helps everybody that's involved. You know, like, if I knew how to play, I would try to play, but it's not, I'd rather listen.
Oh, I can appreciate that. for
Engage
sure.
differently. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I listen, play. I'll help support pretty much anyone I come across. You know, I'll do my best. I share stuff on social that I see of buddies doing stuff. Like, it's just, it doesn't take anything away from you to do those things.
I'm that guy. I'm opening to close. I'm literally find out who the opener is and support them, and then I'll be there. I'm in line at 6 o'clock, 5 o'clock before the doors open to see who the opener is. And half the time they're not even on the flyer.
Right.
I had no idea. I went to go see In Flames. I had no Vended was there. I had no idea they were playing that night.
Yep.
They were the first band to go on.
Right.
If I wasn't there at 6 o'clock, or I would have never known they were there.
Right.
Yep.
Right. And see, that's the thing too. Like, that's getting back to what he was saying. Like, you can be like on the tour with somebody that's a big band or whatever, but like, you go on first unless people show up early. So how many people actually truly show up early
Yeah.
to get there? Unless it's like a GA kind of concert where everything's just general admission, then you maybe get people a little bit earlier because everybody wants to fight and run to get there what the best seat was. But
I'm GA.
and to me, like, you're like you're kind of guy that we love. Like, somebody comes to the show like super fucking early, and it's like, I'm here to check everything out from the time the stopwatch starts to the time the stopwatch stops.
Because honestly, this was even before I started this, and I'm going on 4 years now, I believe, maybe 5. I'm not sure. I would have to look. I don't remember when I started this. Even before I started this, I used to go super early. People yelled at me, "Why are you going so early?" Whatever the case may be. I got to see a lot of people that are huge now before they were huge.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
I've got to see Bad Flower before they were big.
I
What do you call
love
it?
There's a lot of amazing bands that have come, that started out small. A lot of people don't want to go see the openers, and it's like you have no idea what you're missing.
Right.
There's a lot of talented bands out there,
It could be hit or miss, but you know what? You will never know.
As well, sometimes
And-
I
and
found
then-
where it's so local, and it may be a little bit lower scale if you'd like to refer to it that way, but I'll find openers that I enjoy more than the main act I went to see.
Yeah.
That may be one that we were playing within the lineup, but we watched bands that went on before us or after us, and you're like, wow. And then
way to be respectful.
that band that may be local to the area or just knows the place better or whatever got in there just through reputation and performance.
And
sometimes
really-
taste wise, it differs.
Yeah.
And really, as a band, You should be doing that because you know what? That's more contacts.
Well, the only opportunities you miss are the ones you don't take. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I mean
so
that goes with business, life, music. It goes with everything. So
Like when I book shows, I make sure every band is mentioned on that flyer, from the
Yeah.
opener to the headliner. It doesn't matter.
and
You know, I
yell
see
at the
so
band
many.
to make sure
I
that
see
they
so
share
many
it.
flyers where it will just name the headliners and the co-headliner, and it'll say "and more." You know, and I don't think that's fair to the other bands. Those other bands just deserve to get represented and brought out there too. How are they supposed to grow if they're just being, put into a category like and more? You have to come find out. You have to hear it from word of mouth. Word of mouth is great, but it's not everything anymore.
Right.
You know,
or even better, special guests. And
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah. We get our special guests, our friends. Like
Ran out of space.
Yeah. I'm very, very picky. When I do flyers, every band is going to be mentioned because every band deserves to get represented, and I'm a firm believer in that. It doesn't matter how small you are, even if you're just getting out of the garage and you're starting out, I will still put your name on there. I will still put your
Right.
logo on there. You will be recognized.
well, that's like
And
our friends from Astoria Unwritten. We've known them. We had them playing Bernie Bash where we all met. They were like 16 or 15 and 16, the two brothers when I met them.
Yeah.
Now they're in their 20s, married and have kids, and they kind of went on a little bit of a I don't know if you call it a tour or not tour. We just weren't in Illinois. We played Wisconsin and way west Illinois, not to be considered Illinois, I guess, in my opinion. But we played a few shows with them. But it was like that's another thing. Like there's no Thirsty Whales anymore, where underage bands could go play and as long as you didn't drink with your bracelet,
Yeah.
Like you got to get hurt. There's nothing like that for younger bands, and there are a lot of younger bands that are original that are trying to do something, but again,
Nobody's.
they don't have any money. Yeah, the Nobodies from Moonfest.
Nobody's, yes.
They won
Yes.
they were great.
Yeah, they had some energy. As much
I mean, the guitars were so loud.
17, 18-year-old kids who were killing it.
Great. They were really good.
Yeah.
I just like you said, I think it's just getting too commercial. Everything's just getting too.
Well, networking is definitely important. You had mentioned it, Rob, that the exposure and staying and watching other bands and just being there for the event, not just to perform and leave.
Right.
Yeah.
Seeing a grander picture, a grander opportunity, it all ties together. Where we've had better luck most of the time saying, "Hey, we got 2-3 other bands that are willing to play with us. You have an entire evening's festivities, entertainment for your bar." Most people don't hesitate too often on that.
And-
That's already
right.
booked.
And to honestly, it kind of looks bad if you just play your
Play and go home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of bands do that, and a lot of the fans do too. A lot of fans are like, "Oh, we support the scene." No, you're just supporting your friend because you leave as soon as they're done.
Yeah, then,
Right. Yeah.
that's
Then you leave. Yeah. No.
two
It's not
sides.
supporting the scene. I hate seeing that when I'm at a show, and even doesn't matter what order of the bands are in or whatever the case is. There's times where you've got a major headliner and everyone will stick around, but then there's the people who, oh well, I don't know them, I don't want to know them, but I support the scene. No, you don't.
All right. Yeah.
You're not supporting the scene. You're not giving it a chance. You only want to be there for the people and then you're out the door because you got something else you want to do.
That's
That's
why
not
we're always
supporting
like
the scene,
support
that's
your
supporting
local
your friend,
band. We're always like support your local band, your original music, because you know what? It's not to take away anything from national touring bands, but they're already on their way. They got sponsors, they got all this other revenue. We're the ones that are like bands like us and bands that aren't maybe as far
It's
as
a
we
fight.
are, but
And
are
you gotta
great.
be strategic.
It's like we have to. If it's kind of like potheads and veterans. If we don't look out for each other, nobody else will. You know what I mean? So if bands like us have an opportunity that we try to strive on being mostly original, we see a younger band like the Nobodies or somebody. Like, why wouldn't you stay, check them out, promote them, throw their shows? I throw a lot of French bands that they'll play like small bars like we started off doing, and I'll throw their shows on my Facebook page. Go check these dudes out. They're killer. You know what I mean? Like, you may not get anybody to go there, but the fact that you're supporting them and you're going there means a whole difference to a band. We know because we're in that same position. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care if there's 12 people.
Yeah, we try to see it as
I put a post out every week. Drop your flyers. I put it on 3 of my pages actually 2 of my pages, and then on TikTok.
Mhm.
You know, like if everybody did that,
You'd
I
be
mean,
surprised what you would get.
you'd be
Yeah.
surprised.
Like I have a Facebook page I started. Shit, it's been 12 years ago now. I think we're over 75,000 followers, and I have to approve every post, which is getting a little annoying in my life. I got to get like admins or something, whatever they call them. But it was called
Yeah.
Bands Helping Bands. Same thing you're doing now. Before they had all the YouTube connection, which is you could start a Facebook page, and it'd be like, "Hey, look, I'm looking for a bass player," or "Hey, I'm looking to do this," and it was like you could. And the main rule is you could put whatever you want, as long as it's music related, and you share and support other bands' links. So like like I'm like tonight when we get done doing this, I'm gonna tag your show and everything onto the Bands Helping Bands page, because then this could give other bands that are on there that maybe they want to cook it up. You know what I mean? Like you got to keep it. It's got to be share the love kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Right.
None of us are making millions of dollars here, so like why not just share what we know and be original and share the love of music. Period.
I agree.
Definitely.
So, changing the subject slightly, you guys got any shows coming up? Got anything going on?
Well, as you know, unfortunately, we were going to do the show with you, but he's in Texas. He has a wedding to go to, that one show, so we apologize for that. Trust me, we wanted to do it, but just because of COVID.
So it's Bob's fault.
Huh?
It's Bob's fault.
Yes, it's always
Yes.
my fault.
You're catching on. You're catching on.
Yeah.
But so where I got married at is off the Rock River in Oregon, Illinois. It's about an hour and a half
Northwest.
It's like North Avenue and Route 2 in Illinois, by the I know it sounds stupid, but by the nuclear plant down there. But like the Chicago Blackhawks.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, so Chief Blackhawk is there. So like we happen to get cool with the bar owners. The guy tricked me into playing guitar, which I don't really play guitar that well, but I was playing rock and roll band, doing some things, and he was like, "Oh, we'd like to book you."
What's the name of the place?
It's called Sledgehammers
Thank you.
in Oregon. In Oregon, Illinois. Love you, Melissa and Turtle. But I think they're checking in tonight, just so you know. But basically, there's a hotel. It's on the river. There's 40 rooms. You can rent out the room. Like we already got a bunch of people doing it. Kind of right now, they want 4 hours of music. We have an hour and a half. November 19th, yes, 7 to 11. But we have an hour and a half of music, so we're gonna be looking for try to find us like our genre kind of covered. Somebody wants to be like where we're at, the same thing we're talking about, like a band that's not gonna come and be like, I need $800 to pay. It's a small biker bar in Western Illinois.
Somebody
Yeah, he did message me about this. I will let you promote this. He did message me earlier asking if I knew any bands. I'll do this for you, Brian, live on air. If there's any bands out there who are willing to help out.
Yeah, just whoever wants to have their
Little
music.
Brian.
If you guys do 90s covers or your 90s original medals, where you got an hour and a half of music, something just to come out and be exposed.
Straight
I
up,
can guarantee you everybody was at our wedding is
Cool,
going to be there, which is
man.
at least 100 people in a small biker bar. It's definitely going to be a personal and more of a private show, but like we're trying to, I mean, like, and this is to go to what Rob was saying, what we're all talking about is like when I was texting you, I get it. You're doing what you're doing, and you've helped so many people out, and you put in so much work that it's time for you to go to that next step. Where we're kind of like, well, if we can get somebody who wants to come in and be like, hey, look, it's exposure. Yeah, I mean, and we're going to play in front, you're just going to be a crowd there for sure.
Yeah.
And it's exposure. Come on out. I mean, well, it's not like a lot of money we're getting. We're not getting paid a lot of money. It's more of a like, that bar hooked us up for our wedding. They asked if our band would come out. You know what I mean? And we know bikers. It's going to be a good, fun time. It's probably going to be more of a charitable thing. So it's either going to go like diabetes, because juvenile diabetes, whatever money they make. I think they're only charging a few bucks, like $3-4 at the door or something. I got to finish talking with them about it. But that's our next show. Other than that, we really don't have like a band manager. All the shows around, there's only a few bars where we live at that you can play. You can only play the same few bars in your town so many months in a row, because people are not, you're not going to get 300 people showing up every single month.
Yeah.
At
we
the
still
same
have
bar to
the
see you.
October 29th. What was October 29th?
Oh yeah.
Was
You
that?
had asked about
Yeah,
October 29th.
You asked just the other day about that.
You said just the other day, okay.
God got so much crap. I'll let you know about that, but there may be something October 29th.
All right, so
Okay.
for all the bands out there, anyone from the '90s cover songs from like Britney Spears, I don't know.
Listen, I don't need to listen to the soundtrack to your sex tapes, okay?
No, I'm a Christina Aguilera girl. Okay, I'm a
You
genie.
thought she did it again. No,
Christina.
For anyone who doesn't remember, this is Unlikely Souls. So if you want a chance to play, a couple of do a small set or whatever and help them out, hit up Unlikely Souls. Ask for Brian, Bob. You can ask if you ask for Bob, he's got your blue pill.
but you gotta do it at TDT. You gotta call Bob at TDT.
Whitney will show up if there's a Britney cover. There you go. See, she'll be there.
She'll be there.
Bob, I want to thank you specifically for wearing your pants. And
Thank you.
thank you for keeping them on this time.
Yeah.
The new beds I'm on
fire.
here certainly
I didn't know
help
this
with
was
that.
an issue.
And he hasn't pulled a slice of pizza out of his pocket yet.
Well,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
She said, Bob, thank you for keeping your pants on
no.
for the whole interview.
Yeah.
How about me?
I thought she was
Thank
talking
you.
about you.
We love you.
A Luke Bryan song. There you go. Carolyn will be there for Luke Bryan.
In my big black jack.
Wait, was that a?
That was your wife that probably said that
That's what I'm
shit.
saying. I just wondered.
Because your wife was, I guarantee you that was your wife.
All right, guys.
You guys, thank you so much for joining
Thank
us.
you.
This was a trip. This was fun. You guys are a riot, man. I knew this was gonna be
Thank
fun.
you, thank you, and we're definitely gonna mention both of you guys, on our page.
Thank you.
I'm definitely gonna help promote you.
And
Rob,
our
dude,
shows.
you're cool, dude, and I love the
Thank
questions you ask. They're so like random. Maybe not to you, but to us for the questions you get asked. I love it, dude. It makes you think. Like she said, he's gonna ask you questions that make you think, and it really
Nobody's gonna
did.
be thinking involved here.
Yeah, right. Well, yeah,
It was
like,
fun.
you
It
were
was
thinking.
fun thinking it was true sometimes, but
I would
if you
have
don't
taken.
have
I
the
would have
answers
snorted
for
like
those,
6 Adderall if I would have known we had to think.
then no, I mean,
off of Bob's ass.
Thank you so much.
yeah, thank you.
Love you guys, man. Love and respect.
You guys have a great night.
You
Good
too,
night, guys.
Everybody
Good night.
Appreciate it.
Later.